what to actually expect from NFTs in games this year. Here's what the big publishers have said, how existing games are already implementing NFTs, and if NFT gaming is just one big money grab scam or not. Stick around to find out if you should dive into the digital world. I'm confident that I'll know inner peace again one day. And that day will come when I can go at least a week without hearing about NFTs. Right now, it's hard to go a single day without some NFT chatter popping up, a new tech company rolling out NFT avatars, a video game executive bullish on NFTs and a metaverse, a startup angel investor posting a word salad tweet thread about how they will change art as we know it. For the biggest buzzword in tech today, there's little real substance to NFTs so far, at least when it comes to gaming. Discord walked back NFT plans after a very loud community outcry. Ubisoft's first NFT saw it merely dipping in the toe with one of the least popular games. Konami basically sold some animated GIFs. And once you look at the games built around cryptocurrency and NFTs that are playable now, there's even more reason to be skeptical. If this is the future of gaming, we're going to be spending a lot less time playing games and a lot more time trying to sell each other stuff. Okay, so what is an NFT again? NFTs are non-fungible tokens. Are meant to be one-of-a-kind digital goods. Money is fungible, meaning it can be substituted for another identical item. One $5 bill is the same as another. The whole pitch for NFTs is that they are unique digital items. A token, as defined by NFT marketplace OpenSea, is a digital certificate stored on a publicly verifiable distributed database called a blockchain. The information contained in that certificate or smart contract is what makes an NFT unique. In practice, the distinction between an NFT certificate, that bit of data that says you own this digital good, and a digital good itself, a drawing of an ape most commonly, has been messy. If you see people joking about NFTs being right-clickable JPEGs, this is what they're talking about. Despite the certificate saying you own a one-of-a-kind digital good, someone can still easily make a copy of the image it represents. Critics of NFTs point out that NFTs are harmful to the environment because blockchain transactions are mostly done via a mechanism called proof of work, tied to cryptocurrency mining, essentially computers doing math problems to verify transactions. This consumes a lot of energy. Ethereum, the underlying cryptocurrency most NFTs are currently based on, will supposedly be transitioning to a more energy-efficient proof-of-stake system, but it hasn't happened yet. That tension between an NFT's proof of ownership and the JPEG anyone can copy is a bit different when we're talking about video games, though. The pitch is that NFTs could be used to represent unique in-game skins or items that you could own, and that it could then be possible to sell those items to other players or even carry them between games. So, how would that work? For games, how is an NFT different from any other microtransaction? The key distinction between an NFT and the kind of downloadable content we've been buying in games for years is the blockchain. When you buy a skin in a game today, the record of your ownership is tied to an account. It could be specific to that game or a bigger one like an account you use for all Ubisoft games. The game developer has complete control over how that DLC works, how it authenticates your ownership, the server you downloaded from, and how the item is implemented in the game. The way a skin or a health potion is represented in one game may be totally different in another, depending on how they were programmed. NFTs introduce an external element. Hypothetically, rather than your Ubisoft account data telling Rainbow Six Siege that you own a certain Hibana skin, the game would find out what you own by checking with an external blockchain. If you wanted to, you could transfer that skin, or more accurately, the NFT that says you own it, to someone else, and Siege would then be able to check the blockchain to see that they now own it, and you don't. Many of the pitches for NFT games are described as play to earn, since the NFTs you gain while playing could hypothetically be sold to other players for cryptocurrency which has real-world value, assuming there are other players who want to spend money on them. There also is the idea that using the blockchain to verify these unique items, they could be interoperable between many different games. MMO developer Damien Schubert has explained why these pitches for NFTs don't really hold water. Virtually all of the pitches for game NFTs are actually perfectly feasible without NFTs, and actually much easier to implement without them. You can also read indie developer Rami Ismail's thread about just how difficult it is to make something like dice, basic simple dice, carry over from game to another. So far, it seems like the primary reason to implement NFTs in a game is to attract players who already like the idea of NFTs, and not because they make for better game design. But let's take a look at what developers are trying to do with NFTs right now. Games that are playable with NFTs right now. The crypto NFT gaming scene is buzzing right now, and you probably won't be surprised to see the metaverse being tossed around absolutely everywhere. Most of these games want to sell you on owning your own piece of the future, even if the future so far looks like a worse version of Second Life circa 2006. Even the most popular and successful NFT games seem to be shallow copies of better games. They look like a video game you might enjoy playing, but when you examine them more closely, there's a little real interactivity that doesn't revolve around some convoluted way to earn cryptocurrency. And only if you've invested cryptocurrency first. It's no coincidence that if you look up any of these games on YouTube, every video is about how much money you can supposedly make in them. The play to earn is a real stretch. According to DebRadar, which tracks the most active blockchain games, here are some of the biggest. DeFi Kingdoms look similar to Stardew Valley or a throwback RPG, but there's no story or combat. It's basically a skin for different crypto investment mechanics. Heroes are apparently NFTs, but it's hard to tell if you can actually do anything with them at this point. The game is still clearly in active development. Splinterlands, an auto battler that lets you earn a currency called dark energy crystals. If you can fight your way up to a high enough rank, you can trade and rent cards, and almost certainly have to make any real progress. Bomb Crypto, buy a coin called Bcoin to play a shitty Bomberman knockoff. It looks like Bomberman, but I put play in quotation marks because this is actually more of an idler. You click a button and your little hero walks around blowing stuff up on a Bomberman grid while you minimize the windows. Again, heroes are NFTs, so you have to buy them off the game marketplace. There's also an adventure mode that you can play after investing enough, but there are about 50 versions of Bomberman that look vastly better than this. Axie Infinity, a monster racing game where the monsters you breed and battle are NFTs. All the Axies, the little monsters, are some variation of a little blob. Unlike the broad range of designs you'd see in, say, Pokemon, there's an actually combat system here, and you can play against other players, but the cards and the Axies cost currencies that are, of course, their own forms of crypto. And you can even buy plots of digital and land that haven't been implemented in the game yet. It's hard to see the appeal of any of these games beyond the remote chance of speculating on an NFT or cryptocurrency that actually takes off and becomes seriously profitable. And even then, it's a minefield of scams, like the fake Squid Game token and this blatantly stolen imitation of indie game out reverse. So where do big game publishers stand on NFTs so far? Ubisoft may be the only AAA publisher to actually put NFTs in a game, but most of them have at least addressed NFTs in a recent earnings call. These statements rarely say anything truly substantial, instead throwing around words like the incredible potential or future of gaming, but they at least give us a rough idea of where they stand. At the current point, there's just too many scams going on, and it looks like big game studios aren't eager to dive into play to earn yet. Microsoft CEO Phil Spencer hasn't shut down NFTs altogether, but here's his stance right now. What I'd say today on NFTs all up is I think there's a lot of speculation and experimentation that is happening, and that some of the creative that I see today feels more exploitive than about entertainment. Do you think NFT gaming will become mainstream in the coming years, and do you like the idea of this? Let me know in the comments and I personally reply back to you.